What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Talking in Bits, where we walk you through Bitcoin bit by bit so we can provide you with the information you need to succeed and persist. Jose here, as always. I got Ben back in the house. What's going on, man?
What's up, bro? How are you?
It's Bitcoin, man. We always good. I'm doing great.
Another 50K week?
Another 50K, yeah. Another, a lot of scared people still. A lot of messages. Can't knock those messages down, but...
The messages I'm getting are just about, all the other altcoins. And I say the same thing. Take your profits, buy more Bitcoin.
Yeah, be careful.
Right? It's simple as that.
Yeah.
Simple as that. Be careful.
I've gotten those too. I've actually shied away from the conversation just because I would be doing them a disservice to have the conversation with them because, as you know, I'm not an investor. So, the way I feel about Bitcoin and the way, that whole thing is I'm not going to tell you that you're investing in a shitcoin, but I am going to tell you I'm not the guy to have the conversation with. Because I think when you play that game, you're definitely playing with some fire.
Absolutely.
And we get burned.
Yeah,
but
I just tell people, hey, read the Bitcoin Standard, or whatever solid Bitcoin book it is, and just understand what Bitcoin is. And I think when you do that, you see that it's superior, again, compared to every other coin. Yeah. So that's how I'm kind of treating it.
Yeah, Tina's been going around saying it's not what you hear. I'm going to butcher this, but he's going around saying it's not what you hear about Bitcoin, it's what you know about Bitcoin. So he's basically just reminding people what you just said. Go do your homework. Go find out for yourself what it is that the problems that it's solving and everything else that we've gone through. I can't sum it up for people in 5 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And people don't know money. As did I, and I don't know money. I'm still learning money. But it's one of those things where it's like, I can't tell you to buy Bitcoin and make it make sense in one sentence. There's a lot of reasons why you should. But I've gotten the Ethereum pumped up stuff. And I'm just like, hey, the real headline that stuck out to me was, and I don't even want to talk about this, but the real headline that stuck out to me was Vitalik having $8 billion in ETH right when they switched over to proof of stake. So now him and his buddies are basically the Goonies. They basically have the stake because they own the majority and they run that network. That's just the only headline that I'm even going to continue talking about. If that doesn't bring up a red flag to anybody listening, that's cool. Have fun. But anyways, this episode is dope, man. If fans are wondering why we're doing this remote right now, we got a really good guest coming on today. He's a miner. He's a pleb. He's a really good follow on Twitter.
Can you define what a pleb is? I think people still are...
I think that
is.
A pleb by definition is the average Joe. Like if you go look it up. In Bitcoin, I think that definitely spreads around. But I think what you're insisting or what you think, what I think you're trying to bring up is the fact that, there's higher earners calling themselves plebs, not behaving like plebs, but the plebs are saying that it's their stuff. And everybody's trying to own titles. But if you look up the definition of pleb, it's definitely not somebody who's rich. It's just the average man, the average guy. And, I think everybody has a different spectrum on what that income status should be. And I'll give an easy example just because it's easy and I'm sure everybody would agree. Anthony Pomp is not a pleb. Right. But Anthony Pomp behaves like a pleb or tries to behave like a pleb.
Yeah.
And it's on, I don't really follow anything he's saying, but I think when the Hornets come out, it's because they kind of spot it. They smell it. And I'm not the person to say if he is or not. That's not my space or whatever. But what do you think a pleb is? That's what I think a problem.
Yeah, no, I think you hit it. We're average Joes trying to stack and accumulate in Hodl. Right. Because we understand Bitcoin and we understand, the government situation and the money printing situation and the inflation and you see the writing on the wall. So we're just your average Joe stacking, working a 9 to 5 or we're business owners or entrepreneurs or whatever. Yeah. We're not worth millions, but we're stacking Bitcoin. So yeah. I've seen some pretty cool merch too. I'm just saying. So we're going to talk about mining today. Yeah. We're talking mining today.
Super exciting.
Yeah, man. Talk about your experience so far. You've been mining for how long?
Yeah, about a week and some change. I think we could go into the whole conversation with Tarantula on the thing. But to answer your question, at the very beginning, very bad. Setup was great and everything was good, but I didn't know the difference in the pools. I jumped on Slush Pool just because the miner was kind of already defaulted with Brains OS, which is, slush pool work. But nobody, I thought it was going to be like, I turned this machine on and then small pieces of Satoshi start coming in. That happens in other pools, but what I come to find out is in slush pool, it's a luck pool. So somebody told me to think about it as every 10 minutes a block is mined, sometimes faster, sometimes later. Somebody was telling me is think about it as with slush, you sell them your hash for 10 minutes with the agreement that if we don't find the block, you don't get paid for it. That's an awesome way to think about it. But then at the same time, if you guys hit a block, you get a bigger purse, right? Like there's no split here. There's no per hashing. It's like thanks for helping us out. Here's a bigger cut. So, good old risk versus reward. I hear the other pools, and maybe Tarantula could get into this. I hear the other pools are like that, like they kind of stream sats slowly because they pay you for the hashing, whether they find the block or not. And I think they give you a smaller piece of the block.
Gotcha.
So
it's more consistent money because you're getting paid whether they're finding blocks or not. But there's less of a reward if a block is found.
Correct.
So that makes sense.
Yeah. So you just like volatility in any other field, you either have the stomach to ride it out, or where you can have days where you have 0 blocks and you got 0 money and the machine's been running all day, or you could just play it safe and go into the constant streaming, but maybe not get what you deserve from the block.
Gotcha.
That's a trade-off. It's very easy to switch on the fly, so you could go jump on whatever pool you want with just a copy and paste.
Gotcha.
To sum it up, because I want you to explain Compass Mining before we get our guest in here. I stuck with Slush. I'm happy with Slush for many reasons. Some of them don't even make sense. Like a lot of people are probably like, well, go where the sats is at. I'm more like go where the good project is at. And I think something about U.S. miners getting a lot of hashing, and I want to be a part of that because we're going to see a lot of that in the next 5 years. I think leaving hashing here in the United States, their version 2 protocol for servers, which I won't get into because I don't even understand it, but it's good for miners. They were the very first ones to signal for Taproot, which means that they're a Bitcoin-friendly company. And I support Bitcoin-friendly companies, whether I have to lose a little bit of money to support them or not. So I stuck with Slush Pool. It's good.
Yeah.
We killed it yesterday. We're killing it today. We're killing it overnight. Like Slush is doing this thing, but it's not as big as F2.
Gotcha.
And it's not as big as pooling, which I've also looked at. But maybe Tarantula could get into that. But what about Compass Mining? I know you
so compassmining.io, I've ordered 2 units. They're going to be delivered probably end of this month. So they'll be online. One of my buddies, he picked up an S19 and he picked up another unit. I think he's getting $43 a day after electric and their fee with the S19, $15,000 purchase. So, I mean, on a cash on cash return basis, he's going to get probably 80% back year one. And, as Bitcoin kind of grows in price, it's going to continue to go up. With Compass Mining, you can choose where you're actually going to host. So they have hosting Colorado, Nebraska, Canada. I'm looking at Kazakhstan, Iceland, Canada. I think they have access to China and a few other places, but they have a lot of spots in the US again, which I like. So I've chosen to send my rigs to Nebraska. They'll go there
if you were able to.
They'll go to Nebraska at a 0.06 kilowatt hour electric rate, which is a lot cheaper than ours here in Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's dope.
Right. So I'm with that, and then I just pay them a hosting fee. And I think if I were to run that here, I feel like their hosting fee plus electric would be the same thing or close to what I'd pay for electric here.
I can see that.
Plus, I don't have to store it, and I don't have to manage it, and I don't have to, deal with sound.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in my eyes, Compass Mining and any other third-party mining, company like that, they have engineers or employees on site. They're letting customers order rigs through them. They facilitate the rig order. They get it in. They send the customer the serial number. They give the customer all the details. They connect it to, Slush Pool or F2 Pool. I think they recommend F2 Pool.
Can you pick
or F2?
Or is it?
I think you can pick. Yeah, you can. Okay. I think you can set up whatever you want. I think by default they say, "Hey, we'll set up an F2 for you," or let us know what it is.
I think F2 is the biggest hash rate in the world, and they're like 26%. Something crazy.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah.
So it seems like a massive operation. So I'm sure they have thousands of rigs in Nebraska, thousands of rigs in Colorado. Again, I'm for that, in America, which is cool. if something goes wrong, they'll email you and let you know what maintenance is. You know, if a part, malfunctions, I'm going to place this under my business insurance. So the rigs will be insured. So if anything does go wrong, my business insurance will pay for that. So I'm not coming out of pocket again.
That's a gem right there. Smart move.
Yeah. It's just a way to contribute to the Bitcoin network and kind of do it passively, where I don't have to, troubleshoot a blown out fan or anything like that. Should something break in the future, I don't have to deal with noise, or, I don't need the space to set it up. In the future, I obviously look forward to doing that with more space. But sure. It's just a passive way to contribute to the Bitcoin network and, literally mine Bitcoin, and you get paid out to your wallet every day.
Hella fun.
So it's, I feel like you can't really beat that.
Yeah.
And I feel like their fee is nominal. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Interested in hearing the number back and all that. I mean, it's going to be huge because you paid for bigger units, correct?
So okay. The units I got, I think they're in the 7 and 8 grand range.
Okay.
The S15 was like 15. The S19 that my boy got was like 15 grand.
Which is insane. But
which are big units.
I can see where those units are going to bring back a lot of revenue, because with my little small unit, I'm seeing pretty good revenue. I don't know if we caught this under recording. No, I don't think we did. Well, the FUD that when you brought up mining back in whatever January, I believe is when it was, when we talked about it briefly, I didn't know pools existed. And I think this is very common for the average person. So I want to debunk this here on the episode.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, we got a few minutes here, but what happened was you were telling me that you wanted to mine Bitcoin direct, and I'm just like, there's no way in hell you're going to be able to mine Bitcoin. So technically, I'm correct. There's no way in hell. Well, let's not say no way in hell, but the chances are like
individually, you're not going to reap rewards if you're mining solo.
You wouldn't get the hash power that you're going to get to be able to beat these other bigs. So I was technically correct.
Right.
What I didn't know, you don't need to do that. You connect to a pool with a bunch of other people and you share the hashing power and then receive your reward. That's when the puzzle connected. That's when it was because now within my budget, within my strategy, within my budget, within my strategy, I could buy a simple miner and still get passive income without having to worry about, damn, I'm never going to solve this damn block on my own. I'm going to have to spend $15,000 to solve this block or whatever. It's like, nah, I just got to worry about us together as a unit finding the block. And I think it's really cool. I still think that it's much easier for the average pleb, to use the word, go buy Bitcoin. If you don't want to get your hands on it, if you don't want to, like you said, troubleshoot, if you just go to your favorite app and go buy some Bitcoin, it is much easier. You could lock in some sats right now at a really good price instead of delaying. Like I've had to pay for this stuff. So I'm not recommending this for everybody, but if you want to get your hands dirty, I suggest doing it on your own for the learning experience. But I think you've brought up a fantastic argument for why, if for XYZ, I don't have space, I don't want to deal with sound, or I just don't give a shit about replacing a fan. I think it's fantastic that these companies exist that'll give you the opportunity to make some money. Compass really cool. Mining exists. There's a few other companies that I'm seeing. I think, a year or two from now, we're going to see a lot more American companies probably take on this model as well, which is great. Yeah. America will, mine more Bitcoin, which is cool. We need that hash rate here. We need that hash rate here. Yeah, Hash Wars. I got to get that book, man. Yeah. Oh, I didn't read the book. I didn't even think about that. You could just see that China has a lot of the hash rate. And then I don't know. It's weird because Bitcoin is global, so that whole America mindset thing probably doesn't even apply here. But to me, I like what the Marty Bents of the world are talking about and doing. I like what these gas flaring states are doing. I like all this stuff. So it's like I'm not trying to contribute hash somewhere else. But that comes at my expense. I have to pay for that decision, as everybody else does. But we're about to get Tarantula up in here. We'll probably talk about most of this stuff all over again. But Tarantula's a real cool dude, guys. Check him out. I'm sure he'll give his tag and all that stuff. And all right, and we're back, guys. We got our special guest this week, Hodl Tarantula, which I met on Twitter, and I'm gonna let y'all know right now, Hodl Tarantula is a fantastic follow on Twitter. You get a little bit of wisdom, you get a little bit of comedy, you get a little bit of you get that pleb life in there. You get everything with you, man. How's it going, man?
I'm doing good, bro. Life is wonderful, and the Bitcoin overlay, absolutely fantastic.
That's the best answer, man. That's the easiest answer I could get. So I wanna. We were just talking about this before we jumped on the mic with you. So I think that you're a perfect person to answer this. What is your definition of a pleb?
It's just a normal person. It's a regular, everyday person who's just trying to make it against a world wrought with theft through inflation and ridiculous taxation.
Damn, man, you killing these answers, man. Yeah, I agree. Now, to what extent does a pleb when do you not become a pleb? In your opinion, is it when you get to a certain income? Is it when you pull certain tactics? When are you no longer a pleb? Let's talk specifically in Bitcoin. Let's just not say in the average.
Okay, yeah. So you saw the way Raoul Pal went and Nassim Taleb, like all them dudes, like they had the chance to like try to be like normal dudes and live like pleb life, but they went into shitcoinery, and that to me, that's like, dude, you're outing yourself for what you are. You're going into ridiculous garbage that no respectable pleb will have you with. So to me, like, if you being real and 100 and go on that Bitcoin tip, you live in the pleb life. Once you go off point and you start acting a fool and spouting out trash garbage, knowing that it's gonna wreck the honest person who's out there trying it, you ain't pleb. That's not pleb.
That's not pleb.
That's right.
Yeah. And Nassim's example or whatever, the stuff he was saying back to safety or whatever was just stupid. He was just spewing irrelevant, stupid shit.
Yeah, it's when people are out there trying to do right and honestly and they're keeping it real and they're embracing reality, that's pleb, like that's the normal low person just trying to get it, and then some people that might have been born with some money, but everybody has their own struggles in life. Maybe they got their money because they're totally alienated from their family or something, like perhaps they never see them and they have that struggle internally. And some people, like, they hang it up over stuff like that. Like they stop living. And so, people have different struggles, but as long as they're real about it and they bring it to light and they're honest, that's pleb. As soon as you stop and you go off path and you start acting a fool, respect is gone. So is pleb life.
Yeah, I'm with that. Ben, you got any questions?
Yeah, no, I mean, I just wanted to talk about, specifically mining from home versus, say, Compass mining versus like cloud mining. What do you prefer? What are your thoughts? What do you see as trends with mining in general?
Well, hold on, Tarantula. Let me cut you off for a second. Sorry, Ben. Before you answer that, could you let the listeners know, how you got introduced to Bitcoin? What is it that you currently do in Bitcoin? And what explain yourself for the people if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. So I got introduced into Bitcoin back in early 2017. I heard about it, and it was kind of through some shitcoinery tactics that were going around on YouTube. I had a taste with that nastiness, and it turned me into an instant maximalist, right? And so fortunately, I made right decisions, and I already knew about like distributed systems and automation technology, stuff like that. So right away, Bitcoin kind of clicked with me. I wish I would have been not, let's say, had my eyes diverted from Bitcoin initially by the shitcoinery tactics they use to promise all kinds of other fame and glory that never comes with those things. Yeah. But once I noticed that, what's the main thing all these people are asking you for in exchange for their caca coins? It's Bitcoin. They don't want your Visa card. They don't want anything else or a check number. They want Bitcoin. And so I saw that common denominator and I instantly dove deeper into it. And so that's when I learned about it and discovered that, okay, if I really want to be involved with something like this, because when I saw that how it works, I knew that this is something, you know, and that got me excited. And I wanted to be more than just interacting with it to own it. I wanted to support it because it's the truth. And as a Sikh, I am a firm believer that truth is timeless. It's the only way to live. So that is, you know, something that I am adamant about, and every day and till my last. And so I knew that if I could support that, it would, you know, it helped me, you know, personally, because I lost my father when I was young, and that was difficult. And I always kind of was looking for something to do with myself, you know, somehow to spend my time, right? And so getting involved with Bitcoin, I used to like mess around with, you know, automation equipment and like my trucks and stuff, and just kind of like saving equities. But then when I saw Bitcoin, I was like, oh my God, this is insane. So I went head in. Like I bought R4 mining equipment, Antminer R4. That's how, like, that's before the S9.
Yeah, nice.
The S9 is pretty old. So
yeah,
I started buying. I bought some of those, and I started mining, and I had my wallet set up and everything. And my first wallet was the paper wallet.
Oh wow!
And I had to sweep it because I was mining to the paper wallet. And I swept that. And so I swept that into a cold storage device, and it was a ledger. Honestly, that was, but after their data breach, I quickly emancipated myself from that.
Yeah, same here.
and I promptly got myself into a cold card setup. Yes,
sir. So, I second that.
But yeah, that my introduction into Bitcoin was then and there, and I got into the mining, and I was mining, the Bitcoin that I was mining, I was just keeping, right? And I wasn't living on that. I kept my W-2 job so that I could pay the cost of operations for the mining stuff, because I didn't want to trade that for anything. Yeah. So I kept moving with it. And then I made some good decisions by sticking with the W-2 work for a little bit, because I was with a large e-commerce distributor for groceries, Kroger Corporation. And so that allowed me to learn a lot in regards to like automation and building out warehouse systems and making everything function remotely. Yep. Because in 2020, I ended up joining a natural gas producer who was one of the first people to mine Bitcoin off of natural gas. And we have been doing that since in 2020. And so my operation that I had going, I ended up going in with him as a partner. And then later on, we picked up a third guy, and we are now Midstream Enterprises, and we're mining natural gas off of abandoned wells and whatnot. And we're working our way into flared as well. And so it's been a pretty incredible journey the whole way. And the experience I got through the W-2 work, I was able to implement it into my mining operations now, because now I'm actually Chief Technical Officer of Midstream Enterprises, and oversee the expansion of the actual and deployment of the actual like mining equipment itself and everything else. And I was able to bring the automation and distributed systems information that I obtained through the previous work in the fiat world, where I was mining fiat. Yeah. So I mean, it's weird the path that I was on, like, and how it got to where I am right now with Bitcoin, but everything kind of like happened in a certain way and for a reason, it seems like, you know. And but at the same time, I was also making proactive moves in the right direction to ensure that I could, you know, become independent of the fiat system and do what I'm doing now. Like if I wouldn't have been proactive in doing for myself and, you know, rent seeking like a lot of other people out there and just waiting for a handout, I definitely wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely got to be proactive about it. Yep. Before I still want to get to Ben's question, because that is important, but I am curious on, can you walk us through quickly the process between, you said well mining? I've heard of the gas flares. I haven't heard of the well. How does that work?
Well, so you'll have abandoned gas wells that are either not able to get the product to the market, or else it may not be producing enough for them to actually want to try and invest the money to retrieve the product and bring it to the market. And in either instance, we can bring the market to the molecule because through data transmission and just putting our data center on the wellhead and either stimulating the wellhead or running the active MCF production that's there per day, we can essentially generate, revenue from something that the landowner had abandoned, pretty much.
Yeah.
And the other thing about the abandoned wells is they're leaking methane into the atmosphere, right? And methane is 30% more harmful and dangerous to our atmosphere than CO2. And so through doing this, what we're doing, we're actually providing a helpful service by removing these fugitive emissions from the actual atmosphere released from the abandoned wells. And so that's just a net positive for the overall game. So it's that's what we do. We go and we locate these assets that are decaying or abandoned and not operational, and we refurbish them so that they're no longer leaking methane out into the atmosphere like they were before, and we're also providing value back to the community in the form of we can provide jobs locally to technicians who need to service the equipment, and also we're helping out the members of the community who had lost their assets to the actual the process where the well went bad. So
that's powerful stuff.
It's a win-win-win, man.
Yeah. Now you measure electricity in kilowatts. How does the measurement work for gas?
Well, that's based on a lot of different factors. You got some gas might have moisture in it, and it's rated on BTUs and everything. And so I have my partner. He's one of our founders. He's our founder, Marshall. Yep. He's out there and scouting these gas wells because he knows exactly what's required in regards to the geology. So there's a couple different factors in regards to how much energy your gas can produce at one time, because each well doesn't produce the same amount of gas, obviously, and the quality of that gas differs from well to well. So these are factors that we have to take into account and investigate before we just go ahead and pick up an asset.
Yeah. Awesome. Really cool. So I guess we can naturally flow into that question, Ben's question. Home mining, what are the other ones, Ben? Mining from home versus mining through a company that, orders a miner for you, plugs it into their electricity and maintains it for you versus, cloud mining. Any thoughts on those? Any preferences?
Well, so my thoughts on the cloud mining is that if they're doing cloud mining, essentially, they should be doing exactly what the other people are doing. Yeah. Except for they're just financing you the equipment, right? Problem with that is there's not a lot of transparency through any of that from what I've seen in the past. Yeah. And they want you to roll your profits back in to get more terahash, and because the difficulty rate increases and everything else, over time you will not get anything really back in return for that. It's cloud mining. Yeah. It'd be easier for you to just buy the Bitcoin, and most likely that's going to be a better route, because you can't take and you can try to project the next difficulty adjustment. Based on 2 weeks, but you don't know where it's going to be 7 months if you have a 1 year long cloud mining contract. And so you may have been able to buy X amount of Bitcoin for that mining contract, whereas if the difficulty level goes up on that to an extraordinary degree, you're not going to be as profitable as you thought you were going to be. And so it kind of, all your models are now wrecked, as Michael Saylor would say.
Yeah.
All your models are destroyed.
That's the thing.
Yeah, so, I didn't think about that at all. You're right. Yeah, the future could change, and difficulty could definitely increase, and then your numbers go out the window for sure.
Correct. If we look, just take a look at all the hash rates for all the different Kaka coins out there, and then you look at the hash rate for Bitcoin. It almost looks like the actual log price of Bitcoin and the direction it goes. It's like cool. And we're in the exahash zone. It's insane. The other coins out there, they ain't doing nothing. Yeah. They're just like a flash in the pan in regards to hash rate. It's a joke. If you want to base your network security and protocol on that, you're going to be POS and all day long. And I'm not talking about proof of stake. Your network is a POS. Yeah, it ain't strong. It's weak and easily infiltratable.
Yeah. So could you can you explain how the higher hash rate actually helps with that security and actually helps with securing the network?
Well, I mean, it's based on the necessary requirements to solve the algorithm based on its difficulty. Yeah. So that's why they say that a 51% attack, you can harness X amount of computing power to go and hit that protocol and pretty much own it. Yeah. And so Bitcoin has established itself in such a substantial way that it is not financially or economically sound or viable, like in regards to an idea to even try and host a 51% attack like that. Literally, it would destroy anything value-wise that you could possibly conceive of obtaining from it.
Yeah. I like that. The game theory. Yeah, I like the fact that it is. Yep.
Right. So you already understand that. So, but with these other coins, no game, man. It's game over out the gate.
Yeah, because if you, as a node operator or as a miner, decide to play the dirty card, all the Bitcoin that you could ever get are going to be worthless because everybody's going to leave the market. So you're going to steal a bunch of fool's gold is what's about to happen if you try to do something dirty in the system.
Yeah, you're essentially shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so now go ahead.
I'm sorry. I wanted to continue with the question Ben, had about the home mining.
Yep.
I believe in home mining. I started out like that, and I mined in the red for a lot of profit laws, but it was because I'm passionate about what Bitcoin is at its core. It's freedom. I have family in other countries, and I've witnessed the banks destroy their money in real time, and I've seen this suffering myself. So Bitcoin is very real in regards to solving problems for me, and so that's why I was willing to mine at a loss, and I'm proud to say that I do that because Bitcoin is worth doing that, in my opinion. And so,
absolutely
incredible. Yep.
Anyways, the coin now is doing pretty good. So it's not for naught,
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've been seeing, we could go right into pools if you're done with the question. You done with the question?
Oh, well, I was gonna say that to finish with that, the home mining thing is that it helps to decentralize the mining. I don't feel like that it should be just for big players who are like, running, petahashes and exahashes worth of equipment. I think that it helps that everybody does it because it truly should be decentralized. Smaller pools are excellent too because home miners, if they want to mine smaller pools, that's great because it helps with preventing the bottlenecking of regulations. If they really wanted to hit miners, they could slap the pools, because that's where they all have to converge. It's a bottleneck. So if you're decentralizing the mining and you're having smaller miners at home, and they're running these smaller pools, that's fabulous for the network, And I support that fully. And I have an R4 that I still have running in the basement because of that. and I test I test out S9 equipment from the field and stuff sometimes. If I'm not making to the shop, sometimes I'll bring it to the house and test it there. But it's mining at home is something that I believe if you're only in it for a profit, make sure you do your homework. If you're afraid of risk, mining is riskier than owning Bitcoin outright because you deal with difficulty, equipment failure rates, and things like that. So if you're passionate and you have life experiences like myself, where you've been to other countries, I grew up in the Caribbean and I traveled all the states, Chicago, Philly, New York, back here. Now I'm out in the sticks where I love it. And where you've if you've seen things, you'll be more prone to probably mine because you know what it's hitting for and what it's hitting against. And so that's my viewpoint on all that.
Yeah, no, I love that. Yeah, I feel the same way. Like I don't, it's too early for me to tell if I'm making a gain on this purchase or not. But it's just what I can give back to Bitcoin. I do agree with you. That's the same reason I got a node as well, is because I want to be able to contribute to this, this network, this protocol that has basically done so much for me in such little time. Man, as you were saying that, I was just shaking my head like, this is spot on. That's exactly why I chose to buy one and deal with the noise and deal with the potential breakage and all that stuff, because this is much bigger than what the hell's happening to me. And if I can help, that's fantastic. Let's talk about the pools, man, because I stuck with Slush. And in the beginning, I was nervous about being with Slush. You told me I was gambling with my sats. You made me nervous. So what's your take on pools, man? How does a newbie get into pools, and what should they look out for?
I would say that depending on your situation, like, okay, I like Slush pool. I mind Slush pool. Okay. And they hit blocks sometimes and you get past and I like that. But there's also other pools that are out there that they just pay out. You know what I'm saying? And and it's not like there's no lottery or anything like that. And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like
a
PPS plus transaction fees. And, right.
Gotcha.
But there's a few different types of pools. You got PPLNS, FPPS, and FPPS plus. And I think Slush Pool is going to FPPS plus.
Nice.
I don't remember. I haven't looked at their pool, honestly. I'm ashamed. It's been a couple of months. I've been involved with a corporate mining pool lately, and we're mining. We're not mining Slush at the moment. We'll be shifting towards that possibly, though, if another pool that we're in right now isn't favorable. But I personally like my R4 in the basement that I keep going just for nostalgia purposes, like as a home miner. I mine that thing on an Anon pool. There's zero login for that pool that I mine that on. It's a full paper share pool. And it's all I do is plug in my address and go.
Go to work.
It automatically mines directly to my cold storage, and I don't have to log in anywhere. I just go to the pool site, throw my worker name in the address bar there, and it takes me right to it. There ain't no get your email or get your information or none of that.
I love that.
It's like old school,
Now I know what you mean when you were sending me the messages and telling me, that non-KYC mining is the way to go. I didn't know that was even a thing, but I agree. If I could avoid putting in an email, I'm with you.
Well, I mean, I'm all about, keeping my privacy and decentralizing it. And it's smaller pools that I run like that and utilize and sometimes you got to look for them, but they're out there, and they're legit and they pay all right. And sometimes the fees are actually lower because they're trying to grow their pool, and so they're not, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just different because you got to figure out, you got to navigate the site to find the stratum. It's not all 1, 2, 3 for you, like the F2 pool or Slush pool, because they want to guide you right in there. These guys, they're more like kind of running a smaller deal, and so they don't have the resources to dedicate to all the pretty graphic user interface screens. They're like pretty basic looking websites that you got to find the stratum on the site and then just use your address that you're going to mine to, and it's very simple. But sometimes simple is harder for some people when it comes to them being used to like exceptionally like nice graphic user interfaces like you get on Slush and like F2 pool and stuff like that. Yeah. So, you see an old, like a young site that looks like it's all basic text and HTML. You're like, is that real Bitcoin mining?
Yeah, you think it's a scam, yeah.
But they're real. They're out there. And you gotta know the people, I guess, like myself who do that.
Yeah. I
respect it.
Yeah, I can relate that to nodes. People go to get Umbro for a node because they have a really beautiful UI, but it's not open sourced. But what they really should be getting is a Raspberry Blitz because it's open source, but they don't because the UI is absolutely trash.
I thought the Get Umbrella, I thought they posted their source code on GitHub. Did they not?
I think it might be up there, but they don't have the MIT license.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can't really much do anything with it. It's sort of like, hey, you can see it, but
yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. So, but they're getting a lot of crap for that. Did they change it? I don't know, but I have a Raspberry Blitz, and yeah, it's like you said, it's a little rough around the edges, but it's truly, open source, and I can see everything and know what to do with it, and so, but right to the same example, the UI on Get Umbro is like easy, so you can click a button and you get the node going.
Yeah.
And I think people love that stuff.
I'll be honest with you. My wife, she wanted to do what I do, and so I helped her. She built a Get Umbrella node. I have a Raspberry, and I also have a My node, and I also run an SSD on an old laptop, Linux with Bitcoin Core. I got like 4 or 5 nodes in my house.
So you got node after node after node.
Each one is on its own SIM card too, because I have each one hooked up to a mobile router, so it's interesting. Everyone's on a different network.
I like it.
Yeah, truly split up all over the place.
And so with that, I like the Get Umbro, the way it's set up, because it was easy for somebody who's not super technical, like you're saying. But yeah, why wouldn't you throw your MIT? All that stuff is just a little bit beyond me. I guess they have their reasons, but whatever. I mean, so far, their product seems pretty good, and it's legit. I was running their BTC Pay server until I had issue with the node that I had connected to it, and so got to take care of that. But otherwise, they're not a bad node. They're decent. They're legit. But I'm with you. I like my Raspberry and my easy peasy no KYC coin pool. So
yeah.
I think we should be decentralizing pools more. I understand that miners want to find the next block. It makes it more profitable for your pool and everything. Yeah, I get that. But smaller pools is a way to skirt, where regulators can come in and hit us. So we should not be afraid of utilizing smaller pools sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, right now there's legislation going through New York where they're trying to pass it where Bitcoin can't be mined in New York, and it's just the regulation war is going to be a pain. So I totally agree with you on that.
Fuck themselves over.
And it's like they're really shooting themselves in the foot here. I mean, why would you do that? You're really just guaranteeing that you're going to be left in the dust.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fortunate that in Kentucky they actually just put legislation through. It's supposed to help Bitcoin miners. Yep.
Yeah.
Good spot to be, my man.
So I think New York is making a mistake, but hey, it's their state to make mistakes in. I don't have to live there.
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah.
So Tarantula, where do you see, I guess, the Fed and regulation, especially with the Biden administration and Janet Yellen, they're talking about cryptocurrency needs to be looked into. And they have a very aggressive tax plan that they're trying to push through right now. In 5-10 years, where do you see that kind of playing out, and how can we kind of protect ourselves and protect our investment?
Well, when it comes to those who like to take through force, there's one way to protect your investment. It's you just have to make sure that you hold everything in Bitcoin. That's all. So, and from 5 to 10 years from now, honestly, there's no way that anybody can tell what the regulations are going to be. It's going to be another administration coming in, right? So what they put in now, it could be taxed. So, I'm a hodler long term, so I don't concern myself with the next 5 to 10 years. I'm honestly more concerned that there'll probably be like more of an issue with the money, and people will lose their faith in that to the extent that you're gonna have to protect your Bitcoin more or less from the scams and the third parties trying to be in custody of it and stuff like that, and then you're not able to get it back from them, things like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like with the administration, I guess the only concern would be if you're planning to sell your Bitcoin anytime soon, right?
Agreed. Yeah, I saw a tweet that had said, you know, I'm going to hold, they're a hodler, and they're going to hold on to their Bitcoin until the IRS just collapses. You know what I mean? That's the plan. And if it doesn't happen in their lifetime, then their kids get it, you know?
I have similar plans, my friend, so...
Yeah.
It's a tweet after my own heart.
Yeah, it might have been your tweet. I can't remember who tweeted it, but yeah, it was good. Came on my timeline.
I will say too, when you start fucking with the money and people start to go nuts, there's also another way to defend your Bitcoin. Bang bang. So that's right. Yeah. Like that's the part that I kind of think it's, you know, because as a Bitcoiner, I obviously want, you know, the fiat to die, right? Like one of those things. Like, but what my biggest fear of that is that the people that are not aware, that don't have the escape vessel like we do, are going to start coming for other people's stuff, and it could get vicious out there. So that Second Amendment for a person from Massachusetts who never really cared about such a thing, that Second Amendment is very prevalent right now, for sure.
All day.
Yes, sir.
All day.
What you got there, man? Hit me.
Yeah.
Oh, SMB 9.
Okay. Oh, okay. I just ordered one of those. Is it smooth shot? I take it.
All day.
I'm over here doxing myself, but hey, it's whatever.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's the message I have to send to anybody who thinks they're going to forcibly take through, you know, over taxation or by physically coming here. Because I mean, I'm not giving up my Bitcoin through taxation. I might be booking a cruise trip here soon, and you know, going to shore on the way, there might be a boating accident. So if they want to try to get strong, you know, it's not hard to memorize 24 words and then all of a sudden lose everything else.
Yeah, I'm with you on. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, so all right. So if you were to guess where this is going, when it comes to them getting to your Bitcoin, do you think they're actually going to be successful, or you think it's more of an adoption where they're just going to have to play ball with us?
I think that they're going to try and run the system alongside of it. I think they're going to try and, I feel like they're going to try and take a cue from China on the central bank digital currencies. You know, like how China's working that whole system right now with their citizens. I think that central banks are going to try to issue digital currencies, and that like smaller banks will probably try to institute Bitcoin custodies for clientele, like JP Morgan's offering their big guys right now. And also the Office of the Currency Comptroller said that they'll allow, they said this a year ago actually, that they're in 2020, that they'll allow for banks and credit unions to custody Bitcoin for clients. It's just how they're going to implement it. So I think that they're going to try and manipulate the system the way they have been doing still in their POS manner, you know, their money printing manner, and they're going to try and run alongside Bitcoin. And then at the same time, I think they'll try to implement some pretty nasty tactics in regards to, you know, scaring people with taxes and other things like that, just, you know, so they can try to drive that inequality gap and get people to let go. Yeah,
I agree with that. Hodl, before we continue, I don't want to lose all this value. Did you change anything in your mic? Your mic is kind of acting up right now. Like we can hear you, but you're robotic.
Still robot?
Oh, no, that's a million times better, brother.
Okay.
Yeah. But we did get all that. Huh?
When the Bluetooth battery gets low, it tacks up. So.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Cool.
No, it's good.
Yeah. So, so you brought up, now let's talk about securing, right? Because besides, you know, bang, bang, are you like the super paranoid guys when it comes to your Bitcoin security? Or are you just basic, hey, let me throw it in my cold storage and I'm okay with that? Without giving too much, of course, because I know everybody's security is.
I'll say that I utilize multi-sig and that I don't keep my seed phrase in the same location as my hardware device. And I also do not keep my hardware device in my house. And neither is the seed phrase. And so I feel some sort of way about my Bitcoin. I also utilize VPNs and other forms of obfuscation online. I mean, if somebody really wants to, get my Bitcoin, they're gonna have a hell of a time.
Yeah. I'm starting to set up those fortifications too.
They're not. I'll be dead before they get it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I love that, man.
And then family will know how to sweep it. So
love it.
Yeah, no, I love Bitcoin paranoia. I think everybody has a different method of doing their thing, but I think at the end of the day, that's what brings the cleverness is how high is your paranoia for this thing? How creative can you get with it?
Yeah, I have to say one thing though. Complexities are enemies to security sometimes.
1,000%.
I've seen people lose Bitcoin because they were too paranoid also. So you have to know you have to know what your comfort level is, and also you have to be realistic with what you're storing. If you're just storing a few $100s of Bitcoin, or are you storing multiple Bitcoins? Do you see what I'm saying? So based on that, it will also help to determine the level of security you need to be implementing. So
I'll shoot back a little bit on that one, just by simply saying that I still would value a few $100s because of what this thing is about to do. But with a few $100s, you can start learning your systems, right? You can start learning your hardware wallet. You can start learning how to make transactions. And
I was going to finish with if you do accumulate a few $100s, at that point, now you're in a position, you have enough Bitcoin that you can start learning how to interact with it.
Yes, sir.
You can get a hardware device, you can send it from exchange to in a small amount at first just to get comfortable with it, then maybe $50, then 100, then 200, because like to me a few $100s is like 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you got, if you're getting right to that point, then okay, start looking into further in your OPSEC, because you're about to cross the $1,000 threshold, and some people, they look at that as like that's their savings marker. So where they start their savings marker, and so wherever you start your savings marker, like where this is like more than just this is what I'm using to learn with, then that's where you need to start implementing the operational security, even just for sleeping well at night purposes, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Peace of mind.
Ultimately, I think that's what it comes down to. Are you able to sleep well at night the way you got your setup?
Yeah.
Good points.
No, I gotta say, I've gotten into, I've been trying to, code a little bit, in Bitcoin, but basically what I'm trying to say is I've been learning about multi-sig in a deeper sense, like how it actually works. And I'm just blown away by how these scripts just happen on the fly. And it ensures that these 2 XPubs or 3 are the only ones that have access to the output of this transaction. I'm just blown away.
Flash and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just blown away that the system does all this in the background and the user has no care in the world. It just works and is guaranteed to work. And there's no, there's no trust necessary. Multi-sigs are very impressive stuff, man. Very impressive stuff. So this is a question that is a no-brainer for you, but I'm going to ask it anyways. Is there any place on the internet that's funner and better than Bitcoin Twitter? I thought this was a sure shot.
There's a website that I have been utilizing as a Bitcoin faucet for a while now, and they've been around since 2013. And I don't know why their link always gets blocked for me on Twitter when I retweet it, but I've won literally thousands of sats through this site, and they got this little spinny wheel, and you could win like 34 sats, 340 sats, 3,400 sats, and last year it was even higher. It was like 6,000 sats, and like whenever Bitcoin's lower, they raise it up, and it's because it's based on a percentage dollar basis, but it's just a faucet, and it's got this stupid free spinny wheel, and because it's free sats and it's like a little game. I'm like, yeah, get the sats, get the stack of sats. and I get all hyped and excited.
Yeah, man.
I mean, Twitter's fun, but I ain't getting free sats, man.
No, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I don't have to send no money anywhere like stupid fold card. I don't have to damn spend money on nothing like stupid fold card or lolly or nothing. I just click the stupid.
Click a button and get money. Get those.
That
sats,
is better,
yeah.
but I ain't gonna lie, I do love my phone card, man. Something about paying my electricity bill and getting dough back is dope, and just doing shit that I got to do anyways, you know.
No, I'm with that fully, and I have full card. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't get as much use as it used to since the spinny went the way it went, but
it's trash now.
They're getting better with it. They're trying to do better things with it. I won't dog them too hard, but
I like what they're doing.
I don't gotta spend nothing on this other.
No, I respect that. We're gonna have to. You have to provide that link for everybody. We'll put it in the show notes for sure.
I'll just they can hit me on my DM. I'll give it to them.
Yeah,
I'll give you the link in the DM and you can post it up for them.
Yeah, that's cool. Is that the only faucet that exists? I'm surprised there's a faucet still around.
No, there's a couple, but they're becoming less legit. Like they're giving out less, or they take forever to reach any type of menial way to get a payout off of it.
Gotcha.
Like you got to stack for until infinity and beyond before you'll be able to withdraw.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you win in a few thousand sats at a time, I've actually made withdrawals 3 times from this faucet off the wallet that I accumulated in there in the course of the last year or so, and I've been using it for longer than that. So it's actually been a few more than just a couple withdrawals. But I mean, that's just because the Bitcoin prices went up. The sats they give you back now is less, so it takes longer to get the withdrawal. So but that's what it is, and it's cool. It's fun. It's exciting. It's like because I don't gamble or nothing, and I don't really drink or nothing. I just like little stupid nerdy stuff.
That nerdy stuff making money though.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's funny that those faucets used to be literally give out whole coins. Like when they first came out, those faucets were giving 8-10 coins just for you showing up. It's incredible. It's crazy. Obviously that was a while back, but that's incredible.
Yeah, that was back in 2012, probably 2013. But
imagine if you spun one of those little wheels back then and you still got those coins right now. Like the energy that you just built right there without doing anything.
Yeah,
man, that's why I keep playing it though.
I ain't gonna lie. Fold had the Cinco de Mayo fold today, and I was trying to spend some money because they got the little Bitcoin slice there. You can land and get the Bitcoin. But the cool thing about it is if you don't get the Bitcoin, you still get 5% sats back on everything. I think it's only 24 hours, but
that's cool.
24 hours, Cinco de Mayo.
All of them are 5, right?
Yeah, all of them are 5, and one of them is a Bitcoin. I saw that. Yeah, and just to fuck with me, they made me land right on the Bitcoin one right before it. Just to get me to spin again. Yeah.
Use that spinner.
yeah. Fold is dirty because they'll give you 3 spins and then they give you shitty prizes, so you want to keep spinning because you're just human and you just want to keep going for it. It's fucking nuts.
Bitcoin casino.
Yeah, sometimes it be hitting though. I remember getting $10 in sats for buying a book.
Some people just be buying stuff to spin that thing, and you could just be buying Bitcoin.
Nah, I'm just paying my bills and doing basic shit, but groceries or whatever. But one time I bought a $15 book, which actually was my book, and they gave me $10 back in sats, and I'm like, oh, dope. This thing just paid itself off.
That's real
awesome.
But yeah, that's a how people talk about dollar sat parity. That's a real thing in my opinion. It will happen. And that faucet that I was just mentioning, when that day occurs, man, that faucet alone will make me a millionaire.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I always tell people about that dollar for sat thing too. I can't wait till it gets there, but
it will. The rate that they're printing money and so quite literally their system can't keep going unless they keep printing money. In fact, they need people to stay in their financial ruin so that they can keep you on that leash, because If you make enough money that you don't have to go to work, well, who's going to cook their food? Who's going to clean up their cars? Who's going to do their laundry? Who's going to... The world was built and designed by these banking a-holes to literally keep us poor, so that we have to serve. There's no way out of this horrible system except through Bitcoin. Literally, inflation is skewed to make you think it's somewhere where it's not. Taxation is implemented at a rate that exceeds what you will be able to keep your wages going at. Like, you won't make an increase in your salary that's equivalent to the rate taxes will increase and inflation will increase, period. And because of that, people are, unless they're creating their own value and finding a new way, like I found a guy who's mining Bitcoin on gas, and I was smart enough to join forces with him because I knew it was a new way, and it was a new thing, and it was a new way to create value. And unless people can do that for themselves, they're stuck in that 9 to 5. Yeah. And that is literally designed to keep them there. That 9 to 5 is designed to keep them there until they're like 70, 80.
Yep.
And they think that their 401k will support them, but that whole system is just as flawed and manipulated as the money system. You know, like when your loaf of bread costs $50, your 401k that appreciated by 140% over 20 years doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's pointless.
That's on a good day.
It just doesn't matter. You are literally going to be a financial slave until the day you die because of the way the system was built. It was built by individuals with, like, that just can't give it up, and Bitcoin scares the hell out of them.
Yeah.
I love it.
And it should. Yeah, so, I see it all the time, man. Like the people that retire and then have to come back like a few months later because they don't have the means to continue to push forward. And you're right, it's set up. I had a coworker who was an older guy the other day that was telling me something really cool where he was like, "Hey, man, these guys are the slickest bastards of all time because they were able to de-risk themselves by giving people pensions by forcing them to do 401ks."
Yeah, exactly. No,
he's like, now there's no risk on the employer whatsoever in the long run. They don't have to pay you nothing, but they give you a 401k that they give you 1% or 2% match. But they have no risk now because all they can say is, "Oh well, the stock market crashed. That's on you."
That's right.
Yeah, man. And I never pieced a pension with a 401k together. I'm like, these motherfuckers are slick.
No skin in the game, so they just do whatever they want.
Yeah, man. Use and abuse, man. It's a crazy system. But I agree with you, man. Bitcoin's that way out for sure. Before we let you plug in, Tarantula, because we've been talking for a little while now. So where does this go, man? What happens with this potential, other stimulus that's about to come out? What do you see happening this summer with that whole situation, and how does it affect Bitcoin, in your opinion?
Oh, potential upcoming government stimulus?
Yep.
Well,
summer, I heard.
I know that mine, if I see, I'm pushing tax losses from previous years to be able to harvest some of that stimulus, hopefully through my spouse's W-2. Nice. And we've already dedicated any and all government cuck bucks straight to Bitcoin.
Yes, sir.
I hope and pray that people out there are smart enough to do the same because, like I said, when a loaf of bread is $50 10 years from now and they're trying to retire, a 401k that went up 120% is not going to help you. It's not going to help you. You need to be taking every cent you can get and sticking it into a hard asset. You need to protect your energy, your life's energy, your work, that time you spent and effort you put. You need to be protecting that from inflation and theft through taxation and whatnot. And that the only way you can do that is with Bitcoin.
Yeah, Michael Saylor had a quote where it was like, you don't have to invest your money in Bitcoin, just the money that you want to keep.
That's right. Yeah. It's literally melting like an ice cube, as he said. So, I mean, if people are getting the stimulus and they're going out and they're doing something else with it besides feeding their children or keeping the roof on their head, if they're not buying Bitcoin with it, and hell, if you're losing your roof, just let it go. Get it, surf the couch and buy Bitcoin, and then build yourself back up somehow. You'll thank yourself later. But
I agree.
I mean, if you got kids, you use that money and feed them. But I mean, otherwise.
On that very same note, right? Housing market is crazy, and I'm thinking I have a family, right? If I was a single guy, I'd probably sell the house, cash in on the equity, buy more Bitcoin, live in a cheap apartment for a bit, and I'd, come up a whole nother coin or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. Just thinking the ways of, how can I accumulate more? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. That's real. The housing market is really getting to a point where I feel like in the next 24 months, we're going to see something significant happen because people aren't going to be able to keep collecting unemployment from the government like this. They're going to keep printing, right? But the money's not going to us. The money isn't going to like plebs. It gets siphoned back into the up top. So quite literally, when this people's money that they're sitting at home collecting instead of going to work runs out, and other people who were lacking jobs before actually step into those roles, those people are going to be out of luck, and they're going to have, and those people have houses now and other, obligations and loans outstanding that they're using this government money to pay with. And once it all comes to a head and stops, somebody's going to be holding the bag. And a lot of people are going to lose their properties, like their asset, like not assets, I won't say, because a house you live in and pay rent is a liability. Your car is a liability, but they're literally going to be losing it to the repo man, because the money's going to dry up from somewhere. And when they go to get the job back, the people that actually were willing to work will have picked up the slack there by that point. And I think that it might create like an effect that, could have issues long term.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, that's perfectly laid out.
But I mean, there's other things as well that that are in the mix here that are causing problems. I mean, look at the potential taxes they're talking about. It's just absurd. That literally is not helping anything.
They're talking 40% capital gains tax for people making 400,000, and when the people who make 400,000 leave to a cheaper tax place or a place that doesn't have income taxes, that threshold that they're demanding, it's going to go from 400,000 to 100,000 to 40,000. You know what I mean? And the regular folks with the regular jobs are going to be stuck footing that tax bill. So it's a nightmare.
You know when you fuck up, and then you kind of got to lean into it, and you got to own it. You
got to double down on it.
Yeah, it kind of seemed like that's what they're doing. They fucked up, and now it's like they even go walking back. They
never will. They never will, though. What'll happen is they will experience larger taxes, and in turn, they'll pass those taxes on to prices and consumer goods, and we will still eat the bill.
For sure.
Absolutely.
1,000%.
Ron Paul posted something like that the other day. They're like, there's inflation and there's taxes, and the double tax is the inflation, where the cost of goods goes up, so they still get theirs. It's crazy.
That's the thing. If they're getting taxed because they make so much money, and they're saying they're going to tax them to appease the poor people are blind and stupid, because literally they're paying more for goods, not because of necessary inflation, but because they're directly raising the prices of their products to counter the tax they're going to experience for being wealthy.
Exactly.
And then you add inflation on top of that.
Yeah. So and I would argue that. Go ahead.
We foot the bill here literally all day, every friggin' step of the way. It's bullshit.
Yeah, I would argue that those people are dumb and mistaken by design, because it's also a lack of information. The easy one is, why isn't finance taught in school? That's all a smoke and mirror effect. If you don't know, you can't escape.
If there are people out there who are blaming the government or this or that for their situation, you blame yourself for not educating yourself on what's going on. This is all happening right in front of your face. The laws are being passed right in front of your face. Educate yourself on what's being said in those bills, so that you can you know, when you see something ridiculous like that, you know, you're smart enough to respond to it and not just give a knee-jerk reaction, because knee-jerk reactions are nice and they spark controversial, stupid things, but a real response can actually warrant and make change, you know?
Absolutely.
And so, I mean, if people, if more of the complainers did more reading and self-educating, they'd be able to position themselves in a better place to make change. That's just how I feel about it.
Yeah, 100%. It's up to the individual. Yeah, they just got to get a little piece of it, like a little visual of what's going on. At least where I grew up or whatever, it's like you're so busy trying to catch up that you're not even paying attention to what's going on. So it's very, you know. But yeah, once you get a little sneak peek of it and you start like pulling at that rope, oh man, the whole shit just starts to come undone.
You get angry too.
Oh fuck yeah, man. It's a different thing, but that's my thing. It's like, you know, if you're spending most of your time chasing it, if you're spending most of your time distracted by design, by them, right? It's very hard to see through the smoke and mirrors.
Right, that's the thing. You're not, and it is by design. You're not supposed to have enough time to go figure it out.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Right.
Unless you got the finances to do it, but then that puts you in that gives you the ability to put yourself where you have the time, you know? So it's kind of hard, you know? Like I said, the system is built for you to be trapped.
Right.
Remember I said that before.
Financially and with your time.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Mentally distracted.
They control your time. They control you. And so you got to literally kill yourself by doubling down on your time and then putting that somewhere else to make it and make it more productive for you. Like I did my W-2, I did, you know, I used that money to invest in my operations, and then I grew that, right? So, but if you're not able to do that, like, and I worked many extra hours to be able to make that happen. If I wasn't willing to do that, I would have been tired and I had not controlled my time. I never would have, you know, gotten away from that system.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah,
great.
It's just that little peak, man. Once you get in, man, down the rabbit hole you go, man. Bitcoin did that for me for sure. And I know this is an easy one, especially with the breed loves of the world. But that line, what is money, doesn't really mean shit until you go down the Bitcoin rabbit hole.
Right.
Yeah, because I could have asked that question a dozen times in my life, and there's nothing like asking it now.
That's why I'm a big fan of telling people they need to read the Bitcoin Standard. Once you learn what money is from a base perspective, like learn about the Rye Stones, learn about the fall of Rome through coin clipping and the ridiculous leveraging they did through wars and everything. Learn about like how if you were to ask a Roman why and how is this fall occurring during the fall, they would have looked at you like you were crazy. But the same thing's happening right now in this country with our currency. And in that book, they talk about gold and its use, and then it gets to Bitcoin at its core. And you see what money is, how it's viewed by the world, how it was perceived, and how it's utilized. And then you look at what Bitcoin is in comparison to that. And once that light bulb moment occurs, it's a wrap.
Oh, yes, sir. Yep. Yeah,
totally
awesome.
Agree.
Ben, you got anything else for Tarantula?
No, I think we covered a lot of good things, man. Glad to have you on.
Oh, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Glad to connect.
Yeah. This was fantastic. Please, Tarantula, let the followers know where they could follow you, where they could, you know, catch up with you if you want to plug in the merch. Please.
Oh yeah, man, definitely. I'm on Twitter. That's the only social media I engage in at Hodl Tarantula, and I got that Bitcoin swag. It's low OPSEC. You're not going to be telling everybody you got Bitcoin, but at the same time you can rep. You know, I got a lot of different things on there that people can look at. The link to the shop, to the Bitcoin swag shop. It's in my Twitter profile. So if anybody wants to check that out, they can there.
Yeah. We'll get all those links in the show notes or whatever. Hodl Tarantula, you've been a fantastic follow, man. You've helped me personally. I don't want to just say Hodl because there's a lot of Hodls out there, so I'm just gonna keep saying Tarantula.
That's cool, man.
Yeah. But Tarantula, you've helped me personally with my personal mining setup. You're an awesome person to talk to. You're a well-informed guy, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate you, man, and look forward to fucking around on Twitter with you, brother.
Respect. Hey, I enjoyed it. You guys are great. Thanks a lot.
Awesome.
Thanks,
hey,
bro.
guys, please rate, share, and subscribe so we can continue to have these conversations that you love to have. With all the call to actions, hit the YouTube, hit the podcast, Apple, your favorite platforms. We're on Lightning Network. Please go support us, stream us some Satoshis. It means a lot to us. We appreciate y'all, and we'll catch you next week.
Hey, remember, stay pleb.
Stay pleb. Hey.
Peace.
Ben, you're going to cut that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, my recording ended